Good afternoon, everybody. It's been a long time since we brought a rat to you, and welcome along. And here's my upsider now. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, Barry. Thanks so much for having me.
And the topic we always bring up on the show is 000. Please do not ring that number unless you have an emergency. Here's my upsider.
Yeah, that's right, Barry. It's very important that we're mindful of leaving that number alone unless you're in a case of an emergency. That is a time or a situation that is time critical or life threatening.
And if you are caught ringing that number when you don't need to, there will be serious consequences. Here's my upsider.
Yeah, that's right. The consequences are severe. Not only to yourself, you might yourself get a fine, but you can also be responsible for the severe injury or loss of life of another person.
And also, you must never tell 000 that you need chocolates picked up or you can't reach your remote control. How stupid is that? Here's my upsider.
Yeah, that's right, Barry. And you wouldn't think we'd have to tell people that, but believe it or not, it happens. And we do feel like it's necessary to mention it on the show.
And please don't muck around with that number. Here's my upsider.
Yeah, that's right. It's specifically for emergencies only, and it's important that we just do leave that number alone for specific situations which require it.
So, if you call an ambulance when you don't really need to, you will be in serious trouble. Here's my upsider.
Yeah, that's right, Barry. There are some serious consequences there. Specifically, there can be a fine awarded to someone who uses the number irresponsibly and intentionally. So be mindful of that as well.
So, on to some positive stuff now. We've got a fantastic crew of staff here on the show, and here's my upsider.
That's right. We've had a really good team here today at Oceana House, including Ange, Barstrom, Stephen, Karen, and that's it.
And we'd like to thank you for being patient with us, and here's my upsider.
Yeah, that's right. It's been a while since we've brought you a show, so we're very excited to be back and bringing you the latest issues which we concern ourselves with. There are a few of them, but we're grateful that you're still watching and still with us.
And we have a brand new manager starting with us next week.
We do indeed. Alfred has moved on. We'll be taking over at Respite, and we'll be having Danielle Lewis here.
And we welcome her on board. And thank you to the New South Wales Ambulance Service paramedics who took care of my flatmate last week and on Wednesday. And here's my upsider.
Yeah, that's right. They definitely do a wonderful job. We're very grateful that we can always count on that number and always count that someone will be on the other end of that service and be able to reach us within a relatively short time.
And we always tell people to slow down on our roads as well and never speed on our roads to get to your destination. Here's my upsider.
Yeah, that's right. It's extremely important that you consider the lives of other people and the lives of yourself when you're on the road. Drive responsibly. It's not important to get there a little bit earlier. You can spare the time and just drive a bit
And
safer.
don't drink and drive, because if you do, that is very irresponsible. Here's my upsider for this now.
That's right, Barry. It is very irresponsible. You really are putting a lot of people at risk for a stupid reason.
And have enough money for a cab to get home. Don't spend it all. Here's my upsider.
Yeah, that's right. It's part of keeping a plan B available if you do plan to go out and have a few drinks. Consider different ways to get home. There are taxis or even Ubers.
So, I have some news for you viewers now. I will be going in on Monday week for some surgery, so I will not be able to bring you my videos for a couple of days. Here's my upsider.
That's right. We'll certainly miss bringing you our show for the next little while, but it is important that we allow Barry the time to recover, and we have to prioritise his health where we can.
So just recapping our top story today. Please do not ring 000 unless you really have to, and we'd like to leave you with that message this afternoon, and here's my upsider.
That's right, Barry. Thank you. If there's anything you can take away from this show, it is that. We do hope to be in touch with you again next time.
And before we do go today, we went to the Bee Gees tribute concert last night at the DYRSL, and it was great. I'm sorry we can't bring you the footage from last night, but I can tell you it was really good. And here's my upside now.
Thanks, Barry. Unfortunately, I couldn't be there myself, but I'm a Bee Gees fan, so I would have loved to be there. I'm glad it was an awesome night.
And this program today brought to you by the Westpac Rescue helicopter saving lives 24/7. And please don't bring them unless you've got an emergency either. Here's my upsider right now.
Yeah, that's right, Barry. Again, that's another emergency service that we have to be mindful of and recognise that they have a lot of work on their plate. They deal with very serious emergencies. So we have to be considerate that they have a lot to deal with as well.
And with the winter coming up, if you are not well, we said this on the show last year. If you're not well, please don't come to work, and here's my upsider to give you his final tips on that before we bid you good afternoon.
Thanks, Barry. That's right. I think this can be applied to anyone in any workplace. Be considerate of your fellow colleagues or clients. If you are feeling sick or under the weather, don't go in because you can spread that illness. And also it's important to take the time to relax and recover yourself.
And don't go out if you are not well either. Here's my upsider.
Yeah, that's right. And it's important to allow yourself time to recover. It can be frustrating at times, spending so much time at home and recovering, but that's the only way you're going to get better.
And the weather today is absolutely beautiful. Now, if I can get my upsider to pan out there, and I have a look at that beautiful afternoon that we've got here in Sydney. Just look at that. Excuse me. And that is our show for this Saturday, May 5th. I'm Barry Fair, and here's my upsider to say good afternoon to you now.
Thanks, Barry, and it's been wonderful to catch up and have another show with you, everybody there out watching us today. We do hope you enjoy your afternoon.
And as we say, leave 000 alone unless you've got an emergency. Here's my outsider to give you one last reminder before we close the show today.
Thanks, Barry. Hopefully that can be our closing message, and everyone out there can just remember that one important message is to leave that number for the emergencies only.
And as I said at the beginning of our show, if you are caught ringing that number, there will be trouble, because you cannot muck around with such an important number that we rely on 24/7. And here is my outsider to tell you that message one last time.
Yeah, thanks, Barry. It is a very important resource and also a very scarce resource. So please leave that number for the people who are in desperate need of it, encountering or experiencing an emergency. Yes.
So don't tell them that you need your chocolates or you can't get your remote control off the floor, because you are quite capable of picking chocolates and remotes off the floor without hindering paramedics. And that's where we must leave the show for this afternoon. Yeah, thank you very much for joining us this afternoon, and we look forward to your company on the next program. And here's my outsider to farewell you as well.
Thanks, Barry, and thank you again for having me. To all our viewers out there, we'll see you next time after Barry's recovered.
So there will be no shows for a couple of weeks, and leading into winter we'll be discussing ways of keeping healthy over the winter break. We do look forward to your bringing you that program and saving and not spending money on taxis. We do look forward to your company then on that show. But you take care, everyone, and keep reaching for the stars, and leave 000 alone. And thank you so much for joining us today. And here's Joe, my outsider, to say a farewell to you now.
Thank you, Barry. Once again, to everybody out there, thank you for joining us today. We'll see you next time.
And I'm Barry Fair alongside Joe Murphy. Have a good night, everybody. Take care, and don't drink and drive. Stay on .05 or get off the road. If you drink and drive, you're an absolute idiot. Drink driving, it's not bad luck, it's a crime. And safe speeding, there is no such thing.